Extreme Anime Radio. Salutations to everybody watching and listening on Twitch and in podcast land. Welcome to Season 10, Episode 2 of the one and only Extreme Anime Radio Podcast. It is October the 9th, 2024. I am JR, surrounded by mascots, and he is Mr. Neff Canuck. Good evening to you, sir. How are you?
The hockey season for me is one period old, and I've already cursed in 3 languages.
Wait, English, French, and German?
I've almost broken out the Japanese. When I break out the Japanese, you know things are going bad.
Oh boy, I mean, I wonder where that came from.
Be surprised the number of Japanese swear words you pick up if you read enough and you watch enough and you're going, oh boy, here we go.
Well, we thank you all for joining us here this evening. Just a few quick things here before we get started here. If things look a little different to you, if you're watching us on the video realm on either Twitch or YouTube, this is our first podcast with ye old brand new computer, which we have named Umemi, YUM3MI in Leet speak, because this is the third XAR computer build. We have the original station computer, then we have Yoshida EX squared, which is still sitting down on the floor, and then now we have Umemi over here. Why are you smirking?
Okay, you named your computer with lead speak. ... Well,
why not?
I shouldn't really say anything, considering what my computers are named.
So if things look a little different to you in the video realm, that's because we're on the new computer now. I've hooked up the webcam. We tested that last night when we did our Ace Attorney investigation stream. My camera seems to be coming in okay, although I think the sharpness on my face has been turned a little bit into overdrive. But, we'll take this one stream at a time, Neff, and see how things go. And then you may also notice the way that I'm being keyed in the background, because I don't have a separate software now to key me out. Now it's just NVIDIA chroma key, faux chroma key, if you will, that has been installed directly into my streaming software. So one less piece of software I have to run here. But, Neff, you can see a little bit now that it, is trying to do its best, and apparently the software is still in beta.
It's in beta for a reason. I used to run that a bit for myself, but I found that, you know what, no. But again, as you can see, you'll see these little splotches behind me as well, but that's because the lighting in here has gone from okay-ish to, shall we say, crappish.
Yeah.
Because as I've had to move things, and I can't move things out of the way anymore, so I have to sort of, go with what I have.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the problems is I do have a light above or just below the camera.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is to get that light to properly illuminate my face and, the upper part of my torso and not blow everything out. is a bit of a challenge.
All right.
Right now I have it set for, I think, 5,000 kelvins, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I tried the reading version, which is like about 2,600.
Right.
It's a guessing game. Like some days, again, because of, for example, now I've got the third screen going to my left while I'm watching, the Leafs do their leafy things, which in this case is losing to the Scabs. I'm sorry. I'm a hockey nut. I'm not going to apologize for that, but I'm going to say, if I do speak about hockey during these podcasts, it's because it's in my blood. My father indoctrinated me, God rest his soul. And it's like, it's going to be okay, June before I stop talking about hockey again at some point or another.
We got a whole 8 or 9 months ahead of us then, don't we?
Well, in the case of the Leafs, probably not 8 or 9 months, more like 7-ish, 8-ish if we're lucky and they actually do something this year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Heck.
But
when their number one goaltender is on IR to start the season, things are going to be fun.
But yes, we have this up and running here, and now I've the one thing I have to do is put my own backgrounds into the streaming software itself. So I've chosen the new wallpaper that's going to be released next week with Sarah and Yumemi, or if you're looking at us now, Yumemi and Sarah as Sailor Jupiter and Sailor Mars respectively. So that's going to be fun to show you guys. Brenny asked that I release this on Sunday, so I will go with what she requests, and we will release this on Sunday, the full art and the wallpaper. Something else that is on its way, after we saw how I looked yesterday, I am using the Razer Kiyo Pro camera, the one which says, we can do everything without a light. So with this new setup, I think it's holding okay, and the only reason for that is because the light that you're seeing on my face is coming off of my computer screen. I don't have a light source. That is going to be fixed now, because if I were to switch to somewhere else, then it's going to be very dark. So I have a new light fixture which is arriving tomorrow. What timing, right? So we did this, put the order in late last night. It'll show up tomorrow from good old B&H. If I order from Amazon, I think I would have to wait 1 or 2 weeks. But here, B&H, very popular electronics outfit here in New York City, just right across the river, and they ship it to me in 1 day.
Nice.
So.
I did actually do some Prime shopping myself yesterday. So oddly, because of everybody shopping at the same time now, what usually takes me a day because I'm a Prime member is like, you'll be lucky if you get by Friday. Right. Okay, fine. I'll have something to do over the long weekend because, of course, Monday is Canadian Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right.
We have our Thanksgiving early, so because our birds would be frozen by November. Or in this case, our giblets. But
no, what did I get? I got the light from B&H, which was on sale. And also, I got extra hard drive space. So that was installed. Ran into a little bit of an issue this morning. I had to uninstall the driver and let Windows reload it. So I'm hopeful that it's not a permanent issue. We'll know more as the days go ahead, and I got 28 days to decide what happens to it.
Well, when it comes to adding drives, especially SSD drives in Windows, it's cross your fingers, pray, and prepare to throw your hands up in frustration once in a while.
Yeah. But so yes, we're here, and so we'll, as I said, keep making adjustments as the streams go on, as the podcasts go on. So we thank you in advance for your patience with that. Extreme Anime Radio is on YouTube, so follow us there for podcasting replays. You can also find us on Spotify for podcasters, which you can access through XARpodcast.net. And of course, here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Extreme Anime Radio. We also want to point out that at this very moment that we're doing the podcast tonight, Our friends who are in Florida are being affected by Hurricane Milton. As a matter of fact, it is expected to make landfall during our podcast tonight, according to what I've seen from the FAA. So we do keep our prayers and our thoughts to everybody in Florida, and we hope you guys stay safe right now and throughout this entire process with the hurricane passing through. And I'm sure lots of recovery that's coming ahead. Please stay safe there, folks. Anything you want to add to that, Neff?
I was going to say, considering they had just been hit very recently by another major weather, it's like, okay, who pissed off the weather gods again?
Yeah.
You know, like, yikes. It's like, and you watch these storms. I mean, I'm in another Discord with some people who are real weather, aficionados. And I look at this stuff and I just go, okay, this is why I would personally, as much as I hate it, would rather have snow than that.
Right.
Because snow, at least you can move. Snow, at least you can, sort of deal with. Right. But you can't deal. Like, you just can't say, okay, I'll deal with torrential rain later. Right. I will not deal with hurricane force winds later. So as JR has said, and I'll echo his sentiments, stay safe, everybody, stay alert, because you've got to really watch yourself, because this is not a fun time right now, from what I can tell.
No. As far as I'm concerned, me and my Cuban side of the family here, a lot of people live in Florida, but thank goodness they live in southern Florida. So I think the most they're going to get is like a tropical storm force winds, whereas the rest, the brunt of the hurricanes, like cutting through an area basically, I think south of Tampa, and it's going to go through like the middle of the state there. So.
So, like, Miami would be spared, is what you're saying?
From the hurricane force winds, right? They're still going to get tropical storm force winds, which is still going to be pretty heavy. So,
well, yeah, because I wondered about that, because hockey season started last night officially, and I was wondering if the Florida Panthers game would actually get off, because with the weather down there, right? It's sort of like, yeah, entertainment's all well and good to take your mind off stuff, but if those resources can be used to help keep people safe, etc., do that first.
Right. I see Flax has resubscribed. Thank you for your 3 years, 36 months. Congratulations to you. And thank you so much for supporting us all this time. I really appreciate it. And Flax, if we have room, there is a spot for you tonight when we do Jackbox. That's the other thing, because we're going to do Wheel of Enormous Proportions tonight.
Yes, the Wheel of Enormous Proportions, a.k.a. How Bad Do I Suck at Trivia?
We're going to do that tonight. Mika may be joining us along with the usual gang. And then another Sarah cosplayer is going to be hopefully joining us this weekend. So that's an announcement that we're going to get to before this podcast is through. But Nev, the very first thing that I wanted to ask you as far as an anime-related question goes, I know we touched on this very briefly. I think we might have been off the air when we did yesterday, but now I will talk to you about this now. What do you think of the live-action My Dress-Up Darling?
I'll say what I said off air, which is that I suspected they would try something like this, because, of course, any project where the anime is very well received, they think, hey, let's flip it to another medium. It's going to work. Now, the trick with My Dress-Up Darling is, because the premise itself is so simple, honestly, as long as it's done well, it's going to work. It's not like trying to do, for example, let's say a Death Note. Okay.
Right.
This Death Note, you have all the things like Ryuk and all the stuff, and yeah, that's just a little complicated. But this is just basically, literally learning to cosplay with a dash of romance thrown in.
Yeah.
And like I said, it really works. I mean, the whole premise spoke to me from not from the romance side initially, but it was that first scene where she shows off her first attempt at a costume cosplay, and it's like, been there, done that, got the looks of, I think I know what you were trying to do, but ...
Right.
So that's why I say, and for a lot of people, I think that's what initially drew them in, because it's literally learning this whole thing
Right.
from its beginning.
Mm.
So in live action, it should be an easy enough thing to tell.
Right. No, it has already aired. If my information is correct, it has already aired the first episode, and as far as I can tell, there are no immediate plans to quote unquote import the series overseas, which doesn't tend to happen too much with Japanese dramas, I would imagine.
Yeah, unfortunately, it has to be a really, really hot property for them to try. See the aforementioned Death Note.
Yeah.
I know a couple series that had live action versions that will probably never come over here, at least officially. Because for every Death Note, there's things like the Lupin movies, Lupin the Third movies, some of which were frankly very good, some of which were, so cheesy they, stank of Gouda.
I guess you could make the argument, though, that My Dress Up Darling is sort of popular, right? It's not the big thing, but
yeah, I mean, of course, it's overshadowed by the next big thing, but it still sells well. The manga still sells well. The anime's coming into a second season, I believe, next year. I believe that has been announced.
Right.
So I'll be curious to see, which parts of the manga that I've read ahead with are going to animate, because there are some interesting things.
Right.
Crossplay for one. And no, it's not Gojo. Don't worry about it. So that should be interesting. And like I said, it's one of those series where I'm glad it's coming back. I just hope it does as well in terms of its pacing, its storytelling, and that little bit of romance thrown in where you're like, okay, guys, come on.
Yeah.
There's sparks there. It's obvious. There's sparks there.
But another series that actually Bree brought to my attention that has resumed is one old Rurouni Kenshin. The second season of the rebooted anime is now out, and we've seen the first episode of that. I think is pretty much recapping everything and setting stuff up for Rurouni Kenshin's time in Kyoto. Your thoughts, Neff?
Well, I haven't seen that yet. Is that Crunchyroll?
Yes.
Okay, I say that because, with a question mark, because I know I found the Ranma 1/2 reboot somewhere else.
Okay.
Netflix.
Really?
Blink, blink, blink. I haven't watched it yet. It is in my queue. And I'm just going, huh. Netflix would grab Ranma 1/2. They must have really toned this new version down, because I don't think they touched the old version with a 50-foot pole.
I was about to say Netflix. Netflix is pretty picky, and they have some pretty good results with anime shows these days. Take a look at what is it? Komi Can't Communicate, I think, is Netflix, and of course the new Sailor Moon movies.
As much as they're picky, it's that they have, the Do-Re-Mi. And I understand the Japanese licensors going, hey, I don't care if it's on Crunchy. I don't care if it's on High Dive. I don't care if it's on Netflix. I don't care if it's on Prime. I just want my Do-Re-Mi.
Right. So there's that. We saw the next dub for No Longer Allowed in Another World, so I think there are 2 more episodes left to dub of that now, and we're dipping our toes into Frieren and continuing that as well.
Well, I hope you enjoy yourself. I will try a rewatch at some point myself, just because, again, it is gorgeous. The music is gorgeous. And I mean, when we watched it together in the hotel room, I was cringing because the actual music mix on a proper stereo system is so good. Like the little TV in that hotel room could not do it justice.
You're talking about Frieren?
Yes.
Okay.
Frieren.
Yeah.
Yeah. You definitely want to have a very nice stereo setup for that, surround setup, so you can really feel immersed in the music. I mean, if background noise was still a thing, I would have bought the soundtrack CD if I had to kill people to get it.
Yeah.
You know, that's how much the music is impactful and such an integral part of the series.
Right, of course. And no, Frieren is one of those series you can really lay back and relax to, considering you have the main storyline of Frieren growing up, if you will, and then going back to all these anecdotal times, seeing how past events intertwine with what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, and I'll be curious to see when the second season comes how much of the manga they're going to now incorporate, because there are some very interesting things that happen in the manga, including a bit of time travel, which I think will be very interesting to watch animated.
Right. And now my father is asking me, how are the Mets doing? They won the series 4-1.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
Now, okay, whoa. Okay, I mean, LOL Mets and all that, but I'm going, what?
Apparently we scored. The last update I gave him was that Philly was up 1-0 in the 6th inning, and then bottom of the 6th, the Mets scored 4 runs, and that's it.
Yeah, because Lindor hit a grand slam. Yeah.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just saw it on my phone, and I'm going, that tracks. Francisco Lindor, every so often we'll do this, and you're just going, oof.
Now,
at one point, the Jays could have had him.
Yeah.
And he would have signed an extension too. That's what I found out, and I'm just going, and this is what we have. We can't have nice things in Toronto.
Now, I was texting him just now, Lindor Grand Slam, and my iPhone wants to say London.
Well, hey, I refer to him, as Lindt.
Yes.
The Swiss chocolate, right? So it's like, hello, it's Mr. Lindt. Boom, there he goes.
Now, going back to the New York Yankees in the lead 2-0 in the top of the 5th in Kansas City. So I want to go to the baseball discussion here after we wrap up on Frieren, because now, Neff, I'm going to talk to you about a tiny little gripe that I have watching on Crunchyroll at the moment. And I can't recall this happening, and it's probably literally because I watch most of my anime with subtitles in original Japanese language. Now, you introduced me to No Longer Allowed in Another World English dub, which is very, very good, and the same thing can be said for Frieren, I think, as well. But now we run into this little situation. My hearing is heretically. So as a result, I have to go to closed captions. So if you watch on Crunchyroll an English dub with closed captions, you got the closed captions, fine. But then if there's any Japanese that's on the screen, it's not translated. And Neff's giving me a look.
That's bad. But I also know that there are several titles on Crunchyroll where the closed captioning is not done by actual closed captioners.
Oh!
They did it with AI.
Oh.
And the results are about as bad as you could expect them to go.
Yes.
And it's just like, who thought this was a good... Oh, yeah, the people trying to save a buck. Sure.
Now I'm wondering.
You charge us poor schlubs, over $100 in Canada plus taxes, and you do this.
Now that gives me another piece of thought, because sometimes in the English closed captions, you see this random character say a line or two, and it'll say, who's talking as part of the closed captions. Male Guard 5E.
That reminds me of a certain song by a certain voice actor whose name I will not pass through my lips, who put a song together called Soldier A.
Soldier A, the unsung hero of anime, hip hip hooray!
Yeah, you know the exact song I'm thinking of, and you know exactly why I will not, give that person any credit whatsoever. But, yeah, so, but like I said, I mean, it's one of those things where you're just going, okay, that might have been AI.
Right.
They literally just took the script, the Japanese script, fed it to AI, and that's what it spat out.
Yeah. And no, I mean, if we go that route, then that kind of loses a little bit of a touch to everything, don't you think?
Well, obviously, because while AI can translate, sometimes when it comes to that, there's a bit of transliteration involved, right?
Yeah.
Because some of the things just, if you translate it, it sounds forced, it sounds wooden. I mean, a good example is if you watch the original Lupin the Third TV dubs from the second series, you can watch them in Japanese with the original subtitles, or you can watch the English dub. The trick is, because this is a show that was done 50 years ago, the references are dated. The way they talk is stilted, right? And so the English dub decided, okay, we're going to modernize things a bit, and for the most part, it works. Yeah, there are the occasional clunkers or things that sounded great when they did them, but when it comes down to, now 20 years after those dubs were done, I think it's been 10 to 20 years at least.
Yeah.
And you're like going, ooh, that aged badly. That aged real badly. But again, that's the risk you take.
Right.
Because again, translation is not an exact science. It is not a numerical 1-for-1.
Right.
As much as people think that is where translation should go, realistically, that's not where it's headed. It's not where it should be headed, in my opinion, for entertainment purposes.
Right. In Japanese especially, you'll have so many things that they say with different meanings. The one that doesn't exactly come up to my head right now, but I read about it when in professional sumo in Japan, which Brie and I follow heavily. Onosato, young bright star, and now the rising star in the Japan sumo world, and at the age of I think 24 or 22, no, I think it's 24. Brie can correct me if I'm wrong. He's now at the second highest rank of Ozeki, and what happens is in sumo, when you're promoted to Ozeki, you get told right away, two elders from the Sumo Association come to your stable, which is where the sumo wrestlers practice and everything. They deliver the news, and you give a formal acceptance speech. And I want to strive to be, I think he said, I can't remember the exact Japanese, but it is something that can literally mean like, I want to be a unique sumo wrestler, or I want to be the one and only sumo wrestler, or a one of a kind sumo wrestler. So how you view what he said, you can say that in like 3 different ways, like I just told you.
Well, yeah, Japanese, it's a lot about intonation and inflection. From what I've seen. And that is a very key thing. And when you're translating, that intonation and inflection, that takes a human ear and a human mind to really do it well.
Yeah.
When you're translating.
Right.
An AI is going to take its best guess. That's all it is.
Right.
It's a best guess programmed by humans.
Right. So, this is a topic we've talked about quite a bit before, but yes, excited to see what comes out of Japan. We have a new prime minister, and of course, just like I think the last prime minister did, once he gets elected by his party, snap election.
Well, you see, that's actually in the parliamentary style system what normally happens, right? Because you normally change a leader close to the end of a party's mandate.
Yeah.
Like, for example, there are rumblings, none of them really substantiated, it's just rumor mongering. There are rumblings that, we will have an election at some point up here. And there are rumblings, well, we got to get rid of Trudeau because he's been here now 8 years as the leader and how many other years as the party leader. And we need someone, a fresh face.
Yeah.
And what's happened in the past when, leaders have changed, which ironically involved his late father, Trudeau Sr., the new guy comes in and can't make himself unique enough, there's that word again, for them to not say, no, you're just the same. You're the same dude, essentially, with a new coat of paint. We don't like your party, and blows the party away.
Yeah.
Which is what everybody is assuming is going to happen, and if it does, I'm just going to hold on to my chair and, cringe.
Yeah. I remember 2 of my trips to Japan, there were elections that were happening, and the elections occurred while I was on vacation, and it was crazy to see, how people were, all these political flyers all over the place, especially in Osaka. You watch TV in my hotel room in Osaka, and it's like, all over the channels the night of the election. So, yeah, they take it pretty seriously over there.
Physician, heal thyself. Because I'm watching the American channels right now, and it's like, holy crap. Another month of this, and I'm going to be a drooling idiot.
Yes.
Just an idiot. So it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And the problem is that the parties up here, even though there is an election, the main rival to the current party in power has been plastering everything with ads to the point where I'm going, let's have an election so you can be destroyed for wasting everybody's time. Like, there is no election. Stop spending this money trying to tell everybody how bad everything is. Wait till the election is called.
But no, we'll see what happens. I think the Japanese elections are going to happen at the end of this month, and we'll see which party reigns supreme, if you will. Let's go back to baseball talk. So I had a prediction before this postseason started that maybe the World Series will end up being the Mets and the Detroit Tigers. Now, the Detroit Tigers still in it?
Yes. I will say this. I don't think the TV executives on the East Coast would be mad, but the TV executives on the West Coast, they would be right now, ready to commit, seppuku, because they'd be like, oh God, we're going to have 0 ratings.
So, but now there's another possibility that was brought up to me. The Mets and the Yankees again, just like 2001.
Another Subway series. I mean, the Subways might be a little dirtier than back in 2001, but the thing is the same, right? The sentiment is the same.
Dirtier, and some people arguing a little less safe, but.
Well, I can't say anything because there have been spurts in the Toronto transit system where I'm going, that's why I refer to it as take the car, not TTC.
The former head, I think the former head of the TTC was Andy Byford, if I'm not mistaken, the British guy.
That is correct.
And he went to New York City Transit, and he did a great job until he couldn't butt heads with Governor Cuomo anymore, and so he left. And now he apparently is the head of high-speed rail for Amtrak. Last I checked.
High-speed rail and Amtrak. No. No. Maybe in 50 years when, we're all dead and dying. Maybe.
You're very optimistic.
Well, I mean, they're talking about high-speed rail up here in Canada again. And it's like, okay, we've heard this song and dance since before when I had hair. And that was a long, long time ago, friends.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, this is another topic we've spoken about before. A transcontinental train journey is pretty good, but it takes a few days, and you have to fight with the freight railroads, even though the freight railroads are supposed to give priority to the Amtrak trains.
yeah, that's the sort of thing that, is happening up here. And it's like, sure, they'll give priority to the passenger trains. Baloney. Excuse me.
Now, speaking of transit, we are going to take this opportunity to announce that, as a matter of fact, do I have Astro's picture here? I believe I do. As you remember, we showed this last time. This is Caleb, aka Astro Cosplay from Scotland, who did their first cosplay of our mascot Sarah Yoshida in, I believe, 3 years. And they did an amazing job. And if you want to go see their cosplay, please go to XAR Mascots on Instagram, where you can find it. But the big news regarding Caleb is boo! Oh, hi. Hi, Mika. Resubscribe for 44 months. Thank you so much. Mika might be joining us tonight. Thank you to them. And also thank you to them also being Caleb/Astro. We are going to do a special stream Saturday morning with Astro. Let me put us back on camera here, and I'll explain real quick. So on Saturday, I don't have any work because I'm going to a wedding. Next door neighbor that I grew up playing with on the street. I like how the crown just placed on Caleb's head. I think I did notice that too. Yeah, we have to go back to the videotape later, but oh boy, that was cool. That was cool. Now, no, I can't go back to the videotape now. It will look weird. We'll have to, maybe we'll have to edit it at some point and see how it looks. Anyway, Saturday I'm not working. My next door neighbor that I grew up with playing on the street when I was young, I saw her grow up and everything. She's getting married. So the ceremony is Saturday afternoon/evening. That leaves Saturday morning free. So what we're going to try to do is present to you the graphical power of this computer with Flight Simulator. And if I have it on hand right here, unfortunately I don't at the moment, but it is here somewhere. We have Halloween Mad Libs. I bought a Halloween Mad Libs book for us to do while we're doing our flight.
And now I'm sad that not only will I miss this, but that I'm missing this for physiotherapy. Double boo.
Well, we do have the one book has a lot of Mad Libs for Halloween, so I'm sure anything we don't tackle on Saturday we'll be able to tack before the month is out.
I think you've struck on a plan there, boss.
There it is. Oh, and we also have to see if somebody wants to come out of the room next door, Neff, because we still have that asbestos screen available here to block you out and introduce our guest when the time comes.
Every so often this month, I've heard the door rattle, and that's bad. When that door rattles, I start, counting my blood because I might not have as much.
You know what? I think that's an idea.
Oh,
the last time we come on the air for October, it should be us, and we'll bring Liz and Bree and Karam and Mika, if Mika's available, and any of our other usual guests. And we'll have XAR interview with the vampire.
Oh, God. My kingdom that it would be Tom Cruise, but no, it's going to be the fool in the closet. Yikes.
So that's going to be Saturday morning. We're probably going to continue Ace Attorney investigations tomorrow night, Thursday. Then Saturday morning, the stream will start at 9 a.m. Eastern. So that's going to be 2 p.m. where Caleb lives in Scotland. So it's a convenient hour for them. And what we're going to do, I asked Caleb today, what sort of route would you like to do? And Caleb said, well, you know, earlier this year, I flew Ryanair, and I flew from Edinburgh, which is Caleb's home airport, to London Stansted. So Stansted is the if you call a tertiary airport, that's the technical term, because you have, I don't know how many airports in London. You have Heathrow, you have Gatwick as the two major ones, and then you have Stansted. Now, Stansted is where a lot of low-cost carriers fly, but you do have a few other airlines such as Emirates. Emirates flies from Stansted to Dubai. They also fly from Heathrow to Dubai. They also fly from Gatwick to Dubai. And for all intents and purposes, they also fly from Edinburgh to Dubai, or they're about to fly from Edinburgh to Dubai with one of their newest planes. But the key is that we are going to recreate Caleb's flight from Edinburgh to Stansted, and that will be in the about an hour flight once we get airborne, and it will be in Sarah 1, which is the Airbus A320neo, which was the first plane that we had decorated with one of our mascots. So considering Caleb joining us from Scotland, who recently cosplayed Sarah, we will honor Caleb with Sarah 1, and we will also do the flight that they want. So that's what we're going to do. I bought the Edinburgh airport scenery today, which was on sale. Upgraded DLC content, and this is one of the good things about Flight Simulator. There's so much DLC content out there that sometimes I would always wait for a good deal. Otherwise, I'd probably go broke buying Flight Simulator DLC. But oh my goodness, the most real-to-life airport I think I've seen in the game. Because you have the arrivals dock, you have buses outside, the Airlink buses that take you to Edinburgh. And then if you scroll around with the drone a little bit, you can run into places like Edinburgh Castle or Murrayfield Stadium. And then you can also climb into the control tower at Edinburgh Airport in the sim and see like several guys at the desk working and stuff.
Okay, that does sound very interesting, yeah.
So I think the first part of the stream is just going to be going around the airport with Caleb to see what they recognize.
Nice.
So yes, and there will be opportunities in the future to do more streams that are a little more graphics intensive, like maybe more Flight Simulator. There's also Train Sim World. There's also Truck Simulator, which we've done in the past. There's also, I'm thinking about, if I can pull this off, doing Portal again. You know the game Portal?
Yes.
Yes. Portal 2... and also in recent memory, yes, there were two big enhancements to Portal 2. The most recent one was a freely made DLC by fans of the game, which adds like dozens of new levels to the game that you can play. And I think there might also be some online co-op modes, if I'm not mistaken. But another enhancement that they've done, and this is specifically for people with NVIDIA RTX graphics cards. Hi, how are you? They did an RTX enhancement, if you will, improving the graphics to an RTX standard, so that will really make the graphics stand out in the game when you play it. So what are you thinking, Neff?
I'm looking at the old box and I'm going, it still runs. And, you know, I spent a lot of money for it back in the day. Back in the pandemic day. That's how long ago it was.
Oh, wow.
Going,
I think I've had Portal 2 in my Steam account since there were Steam accounts. I think we go all the way back there.
Now, the trick is, I know that this graphics card in this box has a more primitive version of RTX.
Right.
Not the most up-to-date version, because this is a 2080 Super Ti.
Mm.
So it's fairly, you know, low on the food chain now for RTX. But I'm going, I wonder if it would actually enhance it in any way.
Well, you still got... what is it? It's almost 9 o'clock Eastern. Oh, that's one other thing with this little setup that I have now. Have you been noticing very closely? Sometimes my picture's freezing up every few seconds, so that is something else I'll have to look into. Seems to be working 99% of the time, but I'm kind of noticing it when I talk and sometimes when I'm paying attention to Neff. But anyway, as I was saying, Neff, since it's almost 9 o'clock Eastern now, you have 3 hours if you want to take advantage of the sales. I see the same graphics card that I bought for MSRP for my computer is now $50 off on Amazon.
Except this poor box trying to upgrade anything. No, it's not. Yeah. There was a reason that I bought this box, mainly because it was very light, very powerful at the time.
Yeah.
But that means that there are certain compromises in the expandability of it. Now, I can add memory to it. I can add another SSD drive or replace the one that's in there. But other than that, I'm really limited. So I might decide at some point, you know, I need another computer for the heavier workloads that I do, you know, here. And then yes, I just hear, you know, I accidentally set off the Alexa in the other room because I said the magic word. But so the trick is, I could transition this box out to a home theater PC. Overkill it would be, though. Right. But then buy a new box for in the cave, in the actual, you know, work cave. So it's like, do I really want to do that right now?
Well, if you need help building, I could always take an Air Canada plane up there.
Well, my plot right now, to be quite honest, is to buy something that is very small and powerful, and maybe use an external graphics card setup with that, because I can do that physically. Okay. So that is where I'm looking right now. Although people say that, yeah, the external setups work, but they aren't as good as having, you know, it attached directly to the computer, which I understand. Right? Even though now you have Thunderbolt 5, which is the newest standard, which is supposed to alleviate most of the bottlenecking that happens when you put a very, very powerful card and connect it to the computer itself. Right. The other problem, of course, is that with the issues that Intel has had with their 13 and 14 gen chips, I'm going, I might want to skip those two and wait for number 15 by the time they, you know, iron out their bugs.
Oh, yeah.
Or introduce new ones at the 15th gen.
Really quick, yes, I offer my services, JR Computer Building Esquire. But if you want to have a little practice at how to build computers, I highly recommend going to the Epic store and buying PC Building Simulator 2. PC Builder Simulator 2 is, you know, gives you a nice little insight into how this whole thing works with building computers. And every time I build a computer, it's pretty fun. What's the problem?
Oh, whoa. There's a simulator about building a computer.
Yes. And it's apparently supported by like almost like 100 or so computer manufacturers and overclocking folks.
Okay, I can see that as an advertiser.
Yeah.
In other words, to advertise the services and the products. But in the back of my mind, I'm going, where have we gone as a society that we need a simulator about building PCs? What?
It's actually quite good. And you know what? Next time it goes on sale, if you have an Epic Games account, you have a copy, okay?
Okay, I'm not even sure if I do. Oh, by the way, we were talking earlier about Netflix and Ranma 1/2, the new series. I just got notified of a new episode for that, and they showed the rating. Take a wild guess.
Not mature.
Bingo, TVMA. Now I'm desperately curious to watch this.
I know you are. Oh my goodness.
I'm going, wait a minute. Why is it MA?
Because it's on Netflix?
I mean, the old version, yes. I could see definitely the old version would end up MA. But I'm going, I would have thought they would have chopped out most of the stuff, or at least a good portion of it, that would make it MA now.
Wow.
Okay, that is something now I will do on Thanksgiving Day, before any festivities start. I will watch a couple of episodes of this just to see, okay, now I know why it's MA. Or, okay, now I know that Netflix censors are...
Well, you definitely have to give us a full report next time we do the show, huh?
I will make this my homework project for Thanksgiving Monday. Yeah.
So once again, join us with Caleb. I believe Liz is on board. We may have a few other guests, but that has to be determined. Join us with Caleb as we fly in-flight simulator and do Halloween Mad Lib. So that's going to be Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern, 1 o'clock UTC, 2 o'clock UK time. You can see more of Caleb's Sarah Yoshida cosplay by going to XAR Mascots on Instagram, which is there on the screen, XAR Mascots. And then, of course, for everything else, we go to Neff.
Thank you. If you have any questions, concerns, compliments, or complaints about this podcast or anything you hear on Extreme Anime Radio's Twitch streams, drop us a line at extremeanimeradio@gmail.com or hit us up on social. Go to linktree.com/anime radio. There you'll find our Facebook page, our X account, our Discord server, our Instagram account, and our Twitch server. As well, archived versions of this podcast are available at xarpodcast.net. That's xarpodcast.net or your favorite podcasting platform.
So, yes, I think I got everything up now to the point where I can start transferring these shows over like I normally do to YouTube and to the podcasting realm. That will just probably take a few days. So probably by the time the weekend is over, everything will be up and running, I think. I try to get a head start maybe Thursday or Friday, but with things going on this weekend. And of course on Saturday, the Flight Sim stream with Astro and also my function. We'll try to get those up as soon as possible for you guys. Right now, we're going to get ready for some Jackbox, but Neff, a pleasure again as always, and thank you and thank everybody for joining us here. For Neff, I'm JR. Thanks for watching and listening, and as always, remember...
Keep on looking out for the Extreme Radio Twitch streams, and don't forget, archive versions of our podcast are available at xarpodcast.net or your favorite podcasting platform. Good night, everybody.
Good night. See you next time.